Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby. Today we're going to take a look at some a plastic model. And this is the Monogram Slingshot Dragster. I don't know exactly when this kit came out, but we're going to take a look at how I built this kit, and I'll just give you some information on what it was like. I always remember this box art from when I was a kid, and I always liked it, so I picked this one up on eBay and built it. So let's take a look. Okay, and this model, it's a kit number 0789. This particular model, the one I held up the box for, is a repop from 1996. It's a Revell Monogram 1996 repop. But this model, I don't know, I can't find any information in this literature here, and I haven't done any research, but I would have to guess it came out in very early 60s, maybe even late 50s. I'm not sure when the original version of this model came out and who exactly did it, whether it was Hawk Models or who did it. I'm sure somebody has an idea. Regardless, I don't think the box has changed from when I remember it as a kid. But anyway, this is the instruction sheet, and the instruction sheet, with the exception of the copyright on it, even seems to be done in the same lettering that I remember way back. This is kind of an exploded view of the few parts there are. It does go into applying decals. I will say that the decals that were in here totally fell apart on me when I tried to apply them. I was going to apply them. But let's see here real quick. Hold on one second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. About 40 pieces to this thing. Not very many by today's standard, but about 40 pieces to it. It's not very detailed and it's not very scale. But fun. I will also add, in case you didn't know and you haven't ever built one of these kits, it also has this little plate down here. Oddly enough, back when kids played with toys, that little plate allowed you to hook a CO2 cartridge, instructions for mounting a CO2 and JetX power unit to the back of this car. You could then use some little eyelets to attach it to a string and shoot it down a string. I can't imagine it making any more than about one trip down a string, especially with the CO2 bottle attached to it, as you see in that picture. I don't know, especially with the hard plastic wheels and no bearings on the axles and that kind of thing. But nevertheless, the fact remains that this model kit allowed a kid to put together something, build something, and then if you had the wherewithal, you could attach it to a string and actually do something with it, even if it was only once. And most of us who built plastic models over time know that when we were kids, we built a lot of plastic models that didn't last very long. A ship model would be exploded by a firecracker. An airplane model would be set on fire and thrown in the air. God forbid kids do that today, and kids don't do that today on my recommendation. But we know we all did it, shot them with BB guns. I mean, you know, what's a BB gun, right? Anyway, we used to have fun with this stuff. I still had fun with it. Anyways, you can see, I don't know, let me hold it up here. You can see there's not very much to the instructions. It's a very simple model to build. I took a little time on this one just because I wanted a representation of how I wanted it to be. So anyway, without me rambling on forever, let's just take a look at it and see what I wound up with. Okay, everybody, so here's how it turned out. As you can see on the box here, the pipes came much longer than they are here. I had to cut them off because I tried to drill them out. I was going to take a drill bit and drill them out and make them hollow. When I did, one of the drill bits came out the side of one of the pipes, kind of screwed it up. I did repair it, but I just thought the pipes looked too long for the car. Maybe that was the deal in the 60s. You can see that the baby moon, not baby moon, but the full moon hubcaps here on the front of the dragster, and most of the suspension and tie rod and drag link and all that stuff. I painted, and valve covers in the top of the engine I painted with the Molotow chrome pen, as well as the roll bar. The purple is just a Krylon Craft purple. I even thought about writing Purple People Eater on it, but I changed my mind. The engine block is done with just plain Craft orange in a spray can, which I believe was also Krylon. Pipes were painted white by hand with acrylic. The wheels were painted by hand with a mixture of acrylic, oddly enough, acrylic, gray, and silver enamel mix. Yes, you can do it if you work at it a little bit. You can't really tell too much, but what I was going for is the kind of the magnesium look of the 60s. And it's kind of okay. I used Tamiya panel line, black panel line paint for the holes. There are no holes, but to make it look like there's holes there. What else can I tell you here? The rest of it is basically built right out of the box. I was pretty happy with it. Everything, I'll say one thing, everything went together very smoothly and accurately considering the age of these molds. I was pretty happy with it. Of course, you can see here, maybe you can see that the guy's arms are hollow, and his legs are hollow. You don't see the insides of his legs too much, but you do see the inside of his arms. I decided to paint him with regular Craft acrylic paint purple, his uniform purple, which I thought he would do back in those days. He's got an old style pancake type helmet, goggles, and so forth. Anyway, this is my rendition. This is what I wound up with, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me spin it around for you here one more time. And if you got any questions about it, you know, be sure and shoot me some questions or something in the comments. And pretty much that's the model. Let me zoom in on it a little bit for you. Okay, here we are zoomed in on it. Let me turn it a little bit. Some of it will go out the picture. I was just pretty happy with it. I had mentioned that I don't know how scale it is. If you really look at that engine block compared to that figure, the engine block in the car seems to be extremely large compared to a lot of the dimensions of the rest of the car. I don't know if it is or not. I'm not a scale fanatic. I'm not really sure on that whole intake system either, whether there was anything that resembled that. I mean, sure, there was setups that had 6 single barrel carburetors, but I'm not sure about that air filter thing or whatever that's supposed to be on top. But that's neither here nor there. I think it looks good, and that's it for today. Okay, everybody, so that's it for today on this plastic model. I know it's not going to be of much interest to the train guys, but I hope you plastic guys kind of get a kick out of it. So for today, that's it, and as usual, thanks for watching.